Tēnā koe. My name is Christine Rubie-Davies. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Arts and Education in the School of Learning, Development and Professional Practice. Many of us here today will be able to remember that one teacher who inspired us, who perhaps made a difference to our lives. A teacher who had high expectations of everyone in the class. This would be a teacher who cared about all the students, supported them, and helped them to achieve at higher levels than they may have thought possible. So, the question underpinning my research has been, why aren't all teachers like that? And more importantly, how can we help all teachers to become like that? My research has shown that when it comes to student outcomes, we should look to the teacher first, rather than the student. When I investigated this in detail, I found that teachers with high expectations of all their students lifted student academic growth by more than 2 years in just 1 year. And that large increase in performance was the same for all students, regardless of their socioeconomic status, gender, or ethnicity, or where they started the year in terms of their achievement. So, what are the attributes of high expectation teachers? Extensive classroom observations and interviews showed that their beliefs and practices could be disseminated into 3 key principles of high expectation teaching. These were, number 1, using mixed and flexible forms of grouping. Number 2, employing clear goal setting with students. Number 3, creating a warm and supportive class climate. When students are in mixed ability and flexible achievement groupings, there are not exciting, fun activities for one group and boring, skill-based activities for another. If we teach students different things, then not surprisingly, they learn different things. Instead, in high expectation teachers' classes, all students are challenged to complete high-level learning experiences. Students often work collaboratively with others, supporting each other, and they can often choose the learning activities that they engage in. The teachers run workshops that students opt into, with the occasional teacher suggestion. But, unlike ability groups, these groups change daily. Students are not labelled. The salience of ability disappears. High expectation teachers use assessments to form skill-based goals with their students. Teachers monitor the students' progress carefully towards achieving their goals. They provide clear feedback that lets students know exactly what they need to do next to achieve their goals. For their part, student motivation is increased because they can see themselves making progress. Choices in the learning activities also increases motivation and engagement. High expectation teachers create a warm, supportive classroom environment. They form strong, positive relationships with all their students. The students often work together, so they're also encouraged to support each other. Students sit in mixed ability groupings, but these groups change regularly, so that over time, all students work with every other student in the class. This serves to create a strong, caring classroom community. However, these three principles are not innate. They can be taught and practiced by any teacher. I conducted a randomised control trial with 84 teachers who were randomly assigned to learn the high expectation teaching principles or not. By the end of 1 year, students with teachers who had been trained outperformed those who were with untrained teachers. The difference was the equivalent of more than a term's additional learning in 1 year. And the more that teachers engaged in the high expectation principles, the greater were the gains for their students. Importantly, there were no differences in student achievement at the beginning of the year. Further analyses of the data showed that no matter what school the students went to, what decile, what class level, what gender, what ethnicity, if students were with a trained teacher, they scored at higher levels than their peers with untrained teachers. As a result of this project, I developed the HERO program, High Expectations, Remarkable Outcomes, which is a professional development program designed to raise teachers' expectations of their students and to teach them how to implement the 3 high expectation teaching principles into their classrooms. This program has now been introduced to thousands of teachers in more than 150 sessions in 7 countries. Remember that special teacher who changed how you thought about school or your future? Imagine the outcomes we might achieve if instead of 1 or 2 such teachers, the majority of teachers were like this. This vision is entirely possible.